Giddy up, guys. It's Cowboy, 9:20 a.m. West Coast, Best Coast. We've got some business to talk about. We got some UFC 275. Tashira Prochazka. UFC in Singapore. What time does this fight start? I feel like it's a normal time fight, so we don't have to worry too much about it. Early prelims, 4 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock your time. This shit doesn't start for you guys on the East Coast until 10. I don't know how y'all do it. That's why I say West Coast, Best Coast. My shit starts at 7. It's over by 10. I'm in bed. Boom. I'm up next morning grinding. So one official play posted already for the kids at home on Discord for MLB. I don't know if we're going to go WNBA today, man. So I'm seeing a little off on that. So you guys watch round one of the show, the MLB and WNBA. Y'all know. For those of you just tuning in for UFC, we got a couple things that I actually like. We'll build our best bet parlay. Didn't cash last time. Pretty confident we can get something going today. Should be a good card. I've already got one guy's money line that I absolutely love. And I don't understand, if I want to take him on the inside or if I want to take him straight money line. His money lines ran a lot. It's Steven Garcia versus Machete. Listen, we'll get to that fight in a minute, but I can just tell you, Steve Garcia, I feel like he's out of Jackson Wink MA. He's been nothing short of spectacular. It looked great on Dana White Contender Series. Came up and lost to Luis Pena. Well, listen, man, that was a pretty outside of his shit that's going on in his personal life. Outside of that, he was a pretty decent fighter, and that was a hell of a first throw for a young kid. Then he came out and took care of business against Charlie Ontiveros, who turned out not to be a great fighter. Now I don't think he's even with UFC anymore, but needless to say, everything I've seen from Steve Garcia so far has been absolutely fantastic. Machete, I don't even know if that's how you say his name. I'm just assuming it. You guys have noticed I cannot pronunciate anyone's fucking name, and I just go with it, man. Go with the confidence. Striker absolutely loves to stand a strike. He's one of those Chinese fighters that we don't know much about. He did fight a unit of Dana White's Contender Series and looked halfway decent. Other than that, that's all we've gotten from the guy. 23 years old. I have not been impressed with the Chinese fighters, except one, Zhang Weili. But I have not been impressed with the Chinese fighters that have come up. There's a couple of them that have been okay. These younger ones, though, I'm not so sold. So Steve Garcia, minus 180, a bit of a pill to swallow. I understand. I think we could also look at inside the distance here. I don't see this fight going the distance at all. And that being said, the position that I want to get on, it's a little juicy, plus 120. So we're getting a tax refund on it. I think that's going to be my first posted official play. Will end up being the where's he at, man? Steven Garcia Jr. inside the distance, plus 110. I actually really like that. I think we're getting good odds there, good even money. And I don't see it going to cards. I really don't. I don't see how it goes to cards. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I just don't see it going to cards. So I'll be taking that as our first official look on UFC today. Should get it done in the maybe even first round. I would think so. Big step up of competition for High Sierra Machete or whatever the fuck his name is. I don't know. So that's the top look on UFC for me today. If you want to take just the money line and you want to eat the juice, that's fine as well. I'm not particularly interested in laying a 180 against a relatively unknown who's got a significant height advantage, or not some height advantage. Actually, no, Steven Garcia does have the reach advantage. I forgot. That's right. Never mind. I'm still not interested. I mean, I don't know enough about this Machete. Mea Shate. Mea Cooper, Mea Maxima Cooper. If you guys know that song, that's some Jimmy Buffett shit. Yeah, let's go. Starting from the bottom, Ramona Pascal versus Jocelyn Edwards. We saw Jocelyn Edwards earlier. Was it last year against Jessica Clark, and then Rosa prior to that. She's been in UFC now for 3 fights, 1 and 2. She's favored today against Ramona Pascal. Ramona Pascal is a local girl from Thailand. Is she Thaiish? I believe she's Thai. Hong Kong, excuse me. And this is a situation where, once again, I don't know about a lot of these fighters today, guys, and I apologize. I'm trying to do my best. I was up till about midnight researching everybody down in the studio, playing with cards too. I got fucking trading cards, guys. Well, that's a good one too. So playing with trading cards and on and off, playing video games with my kids and researching UFC as much as possible. I watched a little bit of her fight tape from the previous one. She didn't look absolutely terrible. She looked outclassed. I will say that. She didn't look terrible. She had her moments. It wasn't. I was hoping that Dana White would put her in a position to where you had a winnable match for the local kid or the Hong Kong, whatever you want to say, local enough, right? And it really just didn't look like she was never really looked like she was going to get finished, and she never looked like that she was really going to win the match in the first place. So I kind of just threw it aside and said, all right, well, it is what it is. She didn't look great, and she did have one round where she got absolutely dominated, and she looked okay, I would say. She did have some really good takedowns, and but Nunez outstruck her and beat her to a pulp, and it almost should have been stopped once or twice. So I think today you're probably safe. Go ahead and taking Jocelyn Edwards, in my opinion. It's nothing I'm going to get a position on. It's just a lean. It's just the way I'm looking on that fight. Minus 165 seems like a good line to me. It is what it is, guys. Sylvia Gomez Juarez, we do know a little bit about. We've seen her fight. We were on her previously against Demonopolis in that Gagne and Demonopolis from Canada came out and looked fantastic. And she lost to Lupe Godinez as well. This fight here, October 9th, was very short. She was very short. She was actually supposed to go on Dana White Contender Series. And she was supposed to go on Dana White Contender Series, and she went and fought Godinez instead on main fight. Something happened. It was during the COVID bullshit. Then she, her last fight against Demopolis or whatever, Vanessa, I don't know her name. She trains in USA, but she's Canadian. I promise you. We know one of the guys in Discord is actually friends with her. So we do know her. He knows her. I know her. So she says from there, but she's Canadian actually, guys. I promise you. I don't know why it says that. That's so weird. But I actually like Gomez Jr. again today. Loing Na, another fighter that we do know a little bit about, not a ton about. She's got really good takedowns. She's a great takedown fighter. Once again, though, it's another thing. She lost to Karen Lossie by knockout against Usman Masvidal, and then she was in a bunch of fights against a bunch of no-namers. So I believe this is a good step up, a competition for Na. She's long. She's the takedown machine. Sylvina Gomez Juarez is vulnerable to submissions, as we've seen. That is an absolute truth. She's a little shorter, a little smaller. Most people will be talked into Na here. What are the live odds on this scenario here? I would look at this fight probably not to go the distance if we're going to go on anything. I think Gomez Jr. could absolutely take this thing inside, and I believe that Na could take this thing inside as well. Not to go the distance would be the direction I would look. Oh boy. Juicy is all hell. Minus 290. Yeah, we can't go that, huh? People are expecting Na to get a submission. And I don't blame them. I mean, she's plus 130. It is the best odds on the card for a exact method of victory. Sure. Gomez Juarez could finish her inside. Do we play like the under 1.5, big balls out, under 1.5? It could be over the first round. I'm not going to get anything official on this. I like the person with the more experience in the UFC typically, and she's fought actually halfway decent competition. Lupe Godinez has looked okay lately. So I'll take the person who's fought better competition than the person who got their face beat in by Carnelossi, personally. But yeah, she's actually fought halfway decent competition. Been subbed twice in the first round. She's very vulnerable to getting subbed. We saw that. So nothing there for me. Under could be a decent parlay piece, but I would lean on Gomez Juarez. Dana Batgerel versus Hyung Ho Kang. I can't believe they're letting Batgerel fight. I mean, he got viciously fucking KO'd a month and a half ago. Like, it seems to me like they're letting him come back a little too early off that KO that he took. I mean, he obviously had to clear everything. He was hot before that. We had rode him in a couple of knockdowns. He KO'd Nadvided. He KO'd Brad Davis, Canetti. So people were high on him, and he looks great, man. He's got that. He's a kickboxer. He's got long appendages for 5'7", very long legs. And he's going against Hoi Hung Kang, who himself is actually a pretty, accomplished jiu-jitsu fighter and is a great submission artist. I think this fight does not go the distance in any way, shape, or form. I don't see any way this goes the distance. Ho Hong Kang has been in UFC for God, man, since we've been children, it seems like. So I would look at this absolutely as a position to get on no distance if the price is right. If the price is right. Batgerel might be a little cloudy in the head still. You're starting to see the money come in Ho Hong Kang, rightfully so. No distance is 130. I love that price. I think that's a great price. And so far, those are the two top looks on UFC for me so far today. Batgirl absolutely get KO, and Kyung Ho Kang absolutely could get the submission. I think both of them being closer to their home lands will look to step up. It is in Singapore. They'll both look to make an impression and make a statement either way, especially Batgirl. Batgirl, with being that concussed and cloudy, I really kind of like I'm really kind of skeptic, to be honest. So that no distance is looking great. Brendan Allen versus Jacob Malcone. We all know Brendan Allen, dude. Brendan Allen showed up to the weigh-ins with like a fucking dead animal on his head. Previously submitted Sam Alvey, another guy that doesn't like to go to decision. Soriano went to unanimous decision. Submitted Carl Robertson, lost to what's Curtis's first name? Chris Curtis, that's right. Got KO'd by Chris Curtis. Got KO'd by Sean Strickland. And Sean Strickland, listen, Sean Strickland can KO somebody, but if we've seen anything for the last 5-6 Sean Strickland fights on this one, he's perfectly capable of point fighting. He likes to point fight and box. He's going the Max Holloway area. I love Brendan Allen. I've made a lot of money on Brendan Allen in my career. He's fuck, man. He's fun to watch. He absolutely is one of my favorite fighters to watch. He's going against Jacob Malcone. Jacob Malcone is another one of those New Zealand kickboxers. He's got way better takedowns though. He's an absolute he doesn't really go for many submission attempts, but he likes to control the fights. We saw him against Al Razak Hassan slow it down. We saw versus Dobson slow it down. Phil Haas, he did get KO'd. He KO'd Van Dijk in the minor leagues, but so far in UFC, first lost to Phil Haas in 2020. Then after that, has actually looked okay against Dobson and Razak Hassan. Slowed it down, gets on top, weighs on. He's short for the 186 at 5'9", so he looks to wrestle a little bit more. Listen, he's a dog for a reason, man. I don't think you really want to take Brandon Allen's the last guy you want to take on the game. It's actually a terrible matchup for him if we're getting down to it, to the brass tacks. It's not a good matchup for him. Brandon Allen by submission is a very live possibility here. Brandon Allen inside the distance, a very live possibility here. I could see this fight definitely not going the distance. No, 185. A better position for me would be to get Brendan Allen inside the distance as well. I think he can win this fight inside the distance quite easily. I wouldn't look at any other direction. If we're going to talk parlay piece, though, if we're talking parlay piece, I would take Brendan Allen, period, right here. He has shown some vulnerability to get KO'd. Lucky for us, Jacob Malcone, he's KO'd a couple guys, but that was in his earlier days and, against fuck. So that would be the position I look at, is to get us on Brendan Allen in some way, shape, or form. So we already talked about Garcia, Machete. Listen, guys, Garcia is just so much fucking better. This was at 160 earlier. We should have got in then. So we could have just taken the money line, eating the juice. We'll take him inside the distance. I think he gets it done around 1. I think that line is not wide enough. This should be reflective to the Brendan Allen line, in my opinion. Sing Woo Chui versus Josh Coulibaly. Josh Coulibaly, another guy from Australian top team. He's a wrestler, loves to get decisions. He's got a few KOs in his life. Most notably in the super fight versus Nelson Mills. I mean, a bunch of guys that we don't know much about. He did draw with Charles Houdin. Charles Houdin has turned out not to be anything special. His last win was against Nutter Nambiki. Sungwoo Choi, he's another guy that is one of the fan favorites. Something about these Korean boxers, these Korean fighters that people just absolutely love. Extremely long reach, 74.5 inches. Last time lost the Black Bruce Lee by submission. Black Bruce Lee's been on something though, but previously that beat Yusuf Zalal and Julian Erosa. The Zalal fight actually was a pretty good fight too. I thought he was going to have a chance to beat him, but look at this right here, dude. He gets up. Great performance. He's very weak on the mat, absolutely very weak on the mat, which is a bit of a concern. Would be the one reason why I would not absolutely want to take him because these Australian top team guys are mat dominant. They love to fight on the mat. If you're looking for a dog today, if you're looking for an absolute live dog, Kuliano might be it. I know it looks like his takedown averages isn't there. We watched some video on him. He's been training. He has been training to do more takedown defense. He has been training to do more takedowns and more control time. So I would look to say that this is a situation where Seungwoo Chu could be vulnerable. I'm not going on either one of these guys, but if I had to have gun to head, I would look at Kuliano, Bio. Could possibly drag this thing out. I think this fight probably goes to decision. If you wanted to really sweat one out, you could take the over here. Over 2.5, or fight goes the distance as well. Let's pull it up. Yeah, you can take the fight goes the distance at minus 115. I don't see either guy getting knocked out. I would be a little concerned for possible submission, but I don't think that's happening. I don't know. So I just kind of forewarned there, guys. What else do we got today on this card? That does it for the prelims. Now we get to the main events. Jack Della Maddalena versus Ramazan Emeev. We know a lot about Emeev. He's been there for just a damn minute, and he's had moments. He's had good moments. Most recently lost a split decision to Danny Roberts. We don't really count the split decision, but for conversation purposes, we'll say it's a loss. And then he lost a split. He won a split decision versus Zawada. So, one split decision win, one split decision loss. Let's wipe those two out. Look at 3 previously to that. Did win a unanimous decision against Stolze. Stolze's, he was hot. Everybody wanted to be a part of him. He's not really, I don't know. He's not, I don't know. Stolze's flash the pan. Then prior to that, ended up losing straight up by decision to Anthony Rocco Martin, who is not even in UFC anymore. So it's one of those scenarios where he lost the Magni and he's out. Jack Della, let's talk about the star, one of the stars, future stars of UFC. If you have not watched Jack Della Maddalena fight, you need to watch him. He is charismatic. His energy level is through the roof. He was Dana White Contender Series, then came out this year actually and KO'd Rodriguez in the first round. It is a step up in competition, Ramazan. I mean, they're feeding him to the wolves. I believe it. What's he going to do? I don't think he should be favored that heavily, to be honest. It is a bit concerning. This is a public bet, which is not, the public is right all the time, guys. It's a public bet at minus 165, a bit fishy. Does this fight go the distance? I think if it goes the distance, you could bet this thing 2 ways, guys. You could bet Maladona inside the distance, and you could bet Emeev by points. This would be the 2 ways I would bet this fight, for the record. I don't think Emeev is in the business of trying to get a finish. This is something where you curate a line, you do a 50-50 split. Let me delete these other things. We use $100 units just for conversation pieces. So $100 here, you get $325 back. $100 here, you get $275 back. I think if you play both of these on an even parallel position, you worst case will squeeze out $75. So Jack Della Maddalena, I don't think he can win by points, to be honest. It doesn't seem like a situation where he wins by points to me. He hasn't had enough experience. He had a terrible weight cut on Dana White Contender Series, and Dana White still gave him a contract and said, "You'll never do this again." First time you ever seen it before. Won by unanimous decision, but looked dominant. So heavy hands. I mean, he has got some fucking heavy hands, and he looks great. He looks the part. He's a future star. I could have only imagined they want him to win so bad, so bad, because he's so marketable, and you can market the shit out of this kid. So Jake Mathews, Andre Fialho, everybody's favorite fighter right now. Dude, this guy's gonna fight what, 6 times this year? Fuck. I mean, he's doing what Kevin Holland did 2 years ago. You can do that when you knock everybody out in the first round, right? I lost to Michelle Pierre in January, then came back in a unanimous decision. What was shocking, because Pierre was like a minus 280, minus 290, and then knocks out Bieza and then knocks out Cameron Van Camp. This guy's hands are so fucking heavy, man. And he's the real deal. He absolutely is the real deal. He's taking on Jake Mathews. Jake Mathews, this is a big step up in competition for him. They fed him initially to, what's his name, to Michelle Pierre. Michelle Pierre has turned out to be the real deal now. Ever since he's calmed down and stopped doing all the crazy shit. Now he's taking on Jake Mathews, who lost by submission to Sean Brady. Prior to that, beat Diego Sanchez, Meek, Achman. I mean, he's been in UFC since what, 2015? It seems like that. 2014. So he's even longer. 2014. Submission artist. Real test time round. I mean, is he going to be able to handle Jake Mathews' ground game? I think it's safe to say that this fight will not go the distance in any way, shape, or form. You could probably take the under 2.5 if it's priced right. It's all about pricing, guys. I am not going to lay 275 on a fight. Fight to go the distance, no. That's a great price. 170. I think it's safe to say that this fight does not go the distance, period. Fialho has gone the distance once in UFC, but it's obvious that Michel Pierre has adapted his game to not want to take these fights to cards. So Jake Mathews always looking for a finish. Always looking for a finish. This is crazy. Minus 110. Huh. Might be kind of a broken line, that minus 170. We should probably play that. Absolutely. What is Jake Mathews? Four and one, and 7-3 out of 17-5. So 10 and 15. So 15 out of 22 fights have been finished. That's a high finish rate. Yeah, I think that no decisions fucking steal, to be honest. We'll probably put that in something. So Zhang Weili versus Jonah Jurdas, or actually Joanna. We just call her Joanna. All right. Guys, this is gonna be one hell of a woman's fight. I mean, an absolute brawl of a woman's fight. Zhang Weili is, in my opinion, I think those last two fights, she lost this one. The last one, the split decision, I had for Zhang. And Rose took control of round 3. And I mean, look at the numbers. We can look at the numbers and watch the fight. She was up 2-1 going into the 4th and 5th. And they ultimately gave it to, by the way, how bullshit was this? Remember, he had a takedown. Takedowns 0 from 11. No, he had 1. Colby Covington. If DC says it's a takedown, it's a fucking takedown. He gets to be the end all be all, ruling what a takedown is and what a takedown's not. Outstruck her significantly. Totally had the takedowns all in it. They gave Rose control. Rose controlled the last 2 minutes of round 4, round 5, and that was the ultimate win for her. And in that control, she didn't do a damn thing with it. It goes back to the officiating in UFC. What are we really looking for? Where are we going? Sorry, the judging. What are we looking for? What are we scoring? Are we valuing control over strikes, even though it's control with nothing? If this guy's fighting, you fucking value his control. Holy shit, you fucking jerk him off when he's got somebody pinning his cage. That's for damn sure. In the women's fight, I don't know. Zhang Weili looked like the better fight. If I took 10 people and they all had various level of UFC knowledge, at least 6 of them would have said that Zhang Weili won that fight. I'm confident. And it would have ranged from people who know everything about UFC, people who know nothing about UFC. Wouldn't have mattered. They would have, various levels would have said, yeah, she won that fight. Yeah, she won that fight. Yeah, she won that fight. I agree. I mean, I completely think that it's lunacy that they didn't, give it to her. The other decision, the other thing is people say, well, you have to beat the champ to beat the champ. And I get that. I don't disagree with that at all. You should, if you want to leave no questions asked, you leave the champ on the floor, or you do a Usman and you have 17 minutes of control, right? We can agree on that, correct? Fair enough. That's the only argument against it. Did she really beat Rose, or was it a split decision? Was it a split decision? If this was a fight right here on the card, they would have given it to Wayne. They would have given it to Zhang Weili. So I think Zhang Weili is, everyone wants to take Joanna as a dog. And I get it. She was one of UFC's best fighters. She's been off for 3-4 years now. Zhang Weili's been fighting in a high competition, man. She's been fighting, high competition. She won a controversial split decision before, and that was Joanna's last fight was there. I guess she's only been off for 2.5 years. So, but she's not she lost to Thug Rose, lost to Shevchenko, lost to Zhang. beat Michelle Watterson, beat Tisha Torres. Tisha Torres' fight was a really good fight. She's a good fighter. I mean, and could she win this one? Absolutely. Gun to head, I'm on Zhang. Am I selecting it for an official play? No. There's better looks. Small card today. I don't like it when they do this. And they didn't really have a choice because I think a lot of people's vaccination statuses and things like that, it's all different. So dog of the day, Talia Santos. Listen, Valentino has been nothing but fantastic. There's no value for me to take her at 550. Santos has been an amazing fighter in her own right the last 2 years. She's looked every bit dominant. She's finished fools. She's been nothing short of spectacular. Let's see if this is taking forever to load now. Don't worry, we're almost done recording. Santos 19-1, and I think she's got 2 or 3 finishes in the previous 4 or 5 fights. A guy that I've talked to about UFC capping quite a bit. He runs more of a simulation. He doesn't have any. He doesn't even look at odds. It's simulations, and yeah, she's got the last finish was with the decision with Matarafi, decision with Robertson, decision with McCann, split decision loss. We threw those out, guys. So, but he has Santos winning at 475. He said it's all about the numbers. If I take this fight at 475, there's a high enough win percentage for me that she'll cash, and that makes sense. It makes perfect sense. I get what he's saying. That is a definite way to bet on UFC and bet on fights. I think it's a dog. I think she's a beautiful dog at 475, 460, whatever. I'll do a sprinkle on it. I think the line's too wide. That's for sure. Valentina Shevchenko really has been challenged, and with not coming to be challenged is you see what happened to Nunez. I'm not saying this is Pena Nunez, and I'm not saying that she's going to win, but I'm saying that when you see this, when they have not been challenged, that's a fucking Glover Teixeira to have 2 or more takedowns. Yeah, fuck yeah. We'll get back to that. Sorry. When you see a line that wide, it's like, okay, there's expressed value on it. We saw it in whatever the last UFC, who the hell was it that I fought? And the Peter Yan fight and Sterling. I was like, that's too wide, and that whole card, every one of those lines is too wide. And yeah, only one of them hit, but it was still, the line's too wide. So more times than not, you have to find express value. So on to the main event, guys. I'm in the minority. I think Teixeira holds on. I do. I think Yuri's untested. Yeah, he's looked great. If I watched his last 2 fights, there's only 2 UFC fights. Okay. Reyes wobbled him. The Ozdemir, whatever. Ozdemir's not even good. So whatever. Dominic Reyes, remember, guys, Dominic Reyes beat John Jones. I don't care what the records say. Dominic Reyes beat John Jones. Anyone who knows anything about UFC knows Dominic Reyes beat John Jones. Plain and simple. One of the 10 biggest rivalries in history, 10 biggest robberies in history of UFC. I'll say it. Dana White's protecting his boy, but he beat John Jones. And this was I don't know what more a guy needed to do to win that damn fight. He was such a good performance, they gave him Yan next. Yeah, he's lost 3 in a row. Oh no. Dominic Reyes is out. The guy's fucking listen, 1 too many strikes ahead, maybe. He's kind of stupid. I don't know. It is what it is. I watched this fight numerous times, and there's no way in hell you can convince me John Jones won that fight. Boring fight, John Jones fight. Every single number across the board, he won that fight. It was 48-47 for me. I can't express it any other way, guys. And so they had to protect the golden boy and the undefeated record. Fine. So look at this one. So Dominic Reyes, that's a great win. I am not taking away that win. Dominic Reyes, though, rocked him. Dominic Reyes caught him a couple times. Dominic Reyes wobbled Yuri. He looked exposed. He took him down and had control for a little bit, had a very close to submission attempt. Yuri did not look like the end-all, be-all grand champion, heir to the throne. It'd be very financially well for me if Yuri won. I've got a couple of Yuri Prism Silver rookie cards. Yeah, I know. And I will put him on eBay and sell if he wins the title right immediately. And I'm going to actually I'll probably go get him graded first. A different thing though. That's A couple guys I know you do cards something too, so you guys talk to me about it. But yeah, that'd be great for me. But I don't think it gets done, dude. I think this is a different step up. I think Glover Teixeira, we've slept on this man for too long, and the disrespect needs to stop. He made Jan Blachowicz look fucking like nothing. And this is the man that controlled Izzy. Granted, there was a 20-pound gap, sure, whatever. Izzy was doing Izzy shit. And, but, you know, I mean, he KO'd Anthony Smith. He won a split decision with Krylov. He submitted Kulaba. He submitted Santos. And he submitted Blachowicz. Listen, he fights every fucking day. He's a teacher, guys. He has now won. His last loss was the unanimous decision to Corey Anderson. I don't know if you guys know what Corey Anderson is. It's a pretty good fucking fighter. Pretty good fucking fighter. He's in Bellator now. He is a champion. No contest. He defeated Ryan Bader to take the championship away. Actually, no, Bader's the champion, isn't it? Yeah, never mind. He went up a weight class. Ryan Bader's still champion, right? Yeah, Ryan Bader cheat Congo. Yeah, light heavyweight. So right. So Corey Anderson, no, dude. Corey Anderson's 32. He got released. I don't know why he got released from UFC. We got knocked out by Blachowicz, and he's out of here. And now he's been at Bellator, and he's been an absolute fucking terror. So that was his last loss, was in 2018. Corey Anderson lost to Gustafsson too. Gustafsson in 2017 was special. Anthony Johnson in 2017. If you're not noticing a trend here, guys, he is susceptible to being KO'd. He can KO himself. Well, there was no bigger KO threat than Jan Blachowicz. I don't know what more to tell you other than that. His record's incredible. Sure, he's 42 years old. He's old. I don't think the age matters in UFC anymore. Is this a placeholder? Is he a placeholder so Yuri can get this title and Yuri can go and wipe out a couple of up-and-coming 205ers because the 205 is so weak, and they can build it up for Yuri John Jones? There's a possibility of that. I think this fight does not go the distance. I don't see any way it goes the distance, personally. So we can anchor that as a parlay piece. I'd say it's under 2.5 is safest too. I don't see it going past the third round. If it goes in the third round, Yuri will be done by then as well. So we could add that as a parlay piece for sure. Glover Teixeira. We could take Glover inside the distance. A lot of ways to look at this thing. Where are we at here? No, the fight does not complete 3 full rounds. I like that better. So is that parlayable? If it's parlayable. So let's talk parlay, guys. Main event though, I think Glover wins the thing inside. I think he probably subs him again. I don't see why not. Safe play though, we'll get a parlay built with no, it does not complete 3 full rounds, or under 2.5 for those of you that don't have the ability to take that. I know some of you don't, and that's okay. And then where was the other one? No distance at. That one we can play straight up. And we just go Brendan Allen, no distance. Minus 124. That's probably best bet parlay. So play that at 120, get the hell out of Dodge, even win. That should be the most solid parlay of the day for me, guys. So kind of quick breakdown UFC before I get the hell out of here. We'll get some plays posted. First couple fights, not a lot I'm absolutely in love with. Edwards, Juarez, lean. I think the Batgerel, Ho-Han Kang, no distance is a great look. Brendan Allen inside, sure. Brendan Allen is a parlay piece, sure. Steven Garcia Jr. inside the distance, top look for me for the whole card, plus 110. We'll get that posted immediately. Colbiano, Sing Wo Chu. I like the dog here. What can I say, man? I like the dog. Melodolana, Amiv. We talked about how we can split that up and play that both ways. We can take Jack inside, and we can take Amiv by decision. Fialho Mathews, minus 170, no distance. We'll get that one posted too. We'll just eat the juice at 1.5, so the play is at 120. Not terrible. We'll get that posted. I don't see that going the distance either. Wang Zhali, Jonah. I like Wang here a lot as well. Santos for me, and then Glover for me, and the under 2.5 or no third round. So other than that, guys, reach out to me if you need anything. Let's get this thing posted. Let's have a day. Gonna get everything posted here in chat, and we'll go from there. Take care, y'all. Y'all have a great day.